Alright, everybody, welcome. It's a little bit of a late start for me, so we're going to kind of rush this along. This is the Gregg Open 1v1 tournament, round 2 of the losers bracket. Last night we watched Kimo versus Shelty. Tonight we'll move another round further and watch Kimo versus Player. So Kimo kicked the number 2 seed Shelty out of the tournament the other day. Will he kick the number 1 seed out? Again, maybe he's going to go for kicking out all 4 top seeds in this tournament. We shall see. He started off with the number 2. He's got a chance at number 1. But Player is really good, so we shall have to wait and see. Player versus Kimo. Probably a lot of Zeus from Player. I don't know what we'll see from Kimo. Maybe Egyptian. Game 1, Anatolia. Nice Egyptian map. And 2, 3, Alfheim always Egyptian. 4, 5 games 2, 4, 5, maybe not. We'll see. But I'm excited, but I'm also running late, so we're just gonna get right into this game here. Not get caught up in all the hubbaloo, hoobala, and right into Player versus Kimo, game number 1 on Anatolia. Where am I looking at here? Round of 16, double elimination, Player versus Kimo. Game number 1, Zeus versus Isis. That's what I was thinking on Anatolia. Alright. Players already faced an Isis on Anatolia and won. Albeit it was Hell's Ravage's Isis, which is not as good as Kimo's Isis. But we'll see. So, Player up at the top is Zeus. And we've got Kimo down at the bottom. Here's Isis. Going down. He is docking on the bottom side of the map. Player is docking on the top. When we saw Player play against Hell's Ravage, Player went up Athena, made some early barracks, and took over the one side of the water really quickly. He's got a lot of starting hunt for Boar in the base, which will help him age up quicker. Hey, look at the Nidhogg. It has a Valentine's heart. Look at that. That's cool. But, sorry, I get easily distracted by emotes in the chat. Good to have you on board, Blossom. It's kind of late. You should go to bed. But, I don't know if Kimo would have seen that game to know that's what Player did that last time was like a pretty quick, 4:45, 5 minute, maybe 4:45 advance. So if you prepare, that doesn't work out quite so well. But because like Hell's Ravage, when he played against Player, he aged up at like 5:30 or 5:40, which of course you got a minute of hoplites attacking your boat, your docks, so that's kind of what happened there. So I don't think Kimo would advance that slowly, especially because he also has, of course, the starting boar, which kind of quickens the age up process for both. When I see seed, so yes, so going into the tournament when me and Boyd were setting it up, we kind of handpicked the top 8 to 16, kind of. And we put Player as the number 1 seed, the number 1 favorite. I guess that number 1 seed is, I guess that's a pretty familiar term for me, but I have seen a lot of non-English speakers kind of asking what that means. So like their ranking, their predicted ranking coming into the tournament, I suppose. So yeah, Kimo defeated the number 2 ranking, according to me and Boyd, and now he faces the number 1. So we'll see. Is he the giant killer after losing in the first round of the double elimination phase and getting to the losers bracket? Will he dominate the losers bracket? We have Player coming down and building a house, and then he'll build his next dock. He's got his boat, CM3 here. Each player will get 9 fish on each side of the water. This is Egyptian favored of a map because Egyptians with the cheaper docks and the ability to kind of spam them and then not have to defend on Anatolia makes them really good. Isis gets the Ancestor's Eclipse, which also kind of gives free land control. So the Isis of all Egyptians is the best one on Anatolia, and probably is the best god on Anatolia. Not to say Isis is untouchable, but Isis is tough and kind of cool. So I'm looking at these town centers. Most of them are kind of surrounded by trees here. Like players, I think maybe goes all the way around here potentially, or it connects up to here, or it doesn't. Who knows? I guess I could click Foggle. Okay, so it connects up here. That's a bit of a rough forest for him. He's gonna have to walk around to get to it. Kimo's kind of protects him from this side. Appleseed is over an orange seed. Neither of them taste good, though. Nothing is more unpleasant when you're eating your seedless oranges and all of a sudden you get that hard crunch and you realize that your seedless orange was not, in fact, seedless. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I don't like it. Now we have Kimo is aging up pretty slowly. Hell's Ravage. Player is aging up. Dang it, I can't. Sometimes this chat gets in the way. I'm trying to look at the numbers here. I don't know. We'll find out. But he's going up Hermes, and it looks like he's aging up a little bit slower than normal as far as what he did against Hell's Ravage. So I don't think we'll see the early aggression. Yeah, we won't, because he doesn't even have a villager down here. Actually, with Kimo advancing so slowly, could have maybe afforded to do it. Hello! Miltiades Pro. Good to have you on board. Okay, so we've got, 2 docks on the top, 2 docks on the bottom. Chasing after the priest is the villager. Okay, so the priest gets, what, 3.6 speed, the villager is 3.8, so we'll slowly catch up, but it'll take a while. It'd almost be worth it to send the scout up here and path block to kill that priest. Alright, so Hermes is up. Yeah, no rush, like the last time. Is he making boats? Any boats? Any boats? No boats. What is he doing? Getting a town center. Okay, so he's gonna grab an early town center. So this is completely different than what player did the last time. Completely different. Last time player went for early aggression. This time he's going for early town center. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Yeah, well, I'll have to get. You'd probably bolt the Sphinx anyway. Here comes Jason out to play. And so, okay, so he uses bolt, which it probably would bolt an early Sphinx or Scorpion Man anyway. I think, though, an forward town center grab against a one town center fast heroic from Isis is pretty risky. I think he would potentially have a hard time keeping this up. Does protect a gold mine. Kimo is making a few war boats to making a few boats to harass, but nothing too much going on. We have prosperity. Can Thor win Hades late game because of the extra armory upgrade? Kind of, but Thor will have a hard time if it's to the point where Hades is built up. Like if we're talking late game, it would be pretty tough for Thor to ever push through all of Hades' defenses. The extra armory line is helpful, but all of Hades' late game abilities, along with being Greek, it would still be pretty tough. I mean, Norse don't exactly excel once the game is solidified. Norse kind of need a little bit of chaos to do well. Did other good players want in the tournament? Me and Boy yeeted them? No. Whoever wanted in, got in. There were no players yeeted. Alright, what kind of age up are we looking at for Kimo? Dang it, I'm going to have to move my chat just a bit so I can see. Oh, well, he's aged up at 745 with a few spearmen. Okay. But Hades can't really, I mean, Hades Colossus, or even Poseidon Colossus, you don't see much. Hades would typically go most likely Artemis anyway, which Chimera do very well against the Norse as well. Hello, Red Vans. Hello, Mad Janet. And Dr. Phil. Good to have you along, too. But yeah, the aggression. So what is player sitting at as far as eco? Is he aging? He is aging up. Dionysius. Get a few skill out, I think, to try to get kind of a cheap win upgrade. Yeah, well, player is primarily Zeus, so I would anticipate him to go Zeus. All of these games, that's his main. Okay, getting just a little bit of boat harass. Here comes the Leviathan. So what we might end up having is maybe player winning the top with his Skilla, and Kimo winning the bottom with the Leviathan, or maybe Kimo will just kind of do nothing. I would assume both have their fish upgrades. Yes, they do. Yes, here comes the Skilla. Because the Skilla loses to a Leviathan. Just have a little bit of... He's got 14 favor. Don't know what he's going to spend that on. Getting per sign. Got a Prodromos and some... Okay, I was going to say, I would like to get that... ooh, power and power and power. Yes, you are on time, Mr. Greek. Started a little later than normal. Hello, honey. Wonderful wife is back. Promptly to go to bed. Yes, Kimo did. He fell behind 2-0 playing Zeus, and then... I don't know if he decided then it was time to go, and it was go time, and went Ra, and then kind of had 3 fairly easy Ra wins. I thought Kimo would be a little bit more aggressive. Instead, he's grabbing 3 town centers, and the Zeus just 2. Magic took over. No, that was definitely Kimo. I think Kimo was trying to style and win with Zeus. Did you get anything? I don't have the webcam on, honey. We're just watching player versus Kimo. Got some chariots coming forward, some speedermen. I'm thinking, but he does have 3 siege towers. I think Ancestor's Eclipse with the siege towers will probably demolish this. Player's going to try to preemptively use ceasefire, maybe. We're waiting to see. Player definitely wants to try to cease the Ancestor's Eclipse here. And Kimo is going to lose his Scorpion Man. And the lack of Ancestor's Eclipse. There's no... Okay, here. Oh, ho, ho, ho. So no ceasefire. We got 4 siege towers. Yeah, I think I'll stream a full thing. I hope. All the wall is not quite built. Oh, it doesn't really matter. It needs to get the siege towers on the buildings here, though. This is a very important gold mine. A lot of villies back here. Kimo needs to kill this town center before the 4 Eclipse is done. And players getting 7 villies there. Ooh, I don't think he's gonna get the town center down in time. Got these units chasing all the way back here. Okay, 20 seconds. 20 seconds. I don't think he's gonna get it in time, but he is losing a lot of villies, though. I mean, this is some pretty rough work going on his. Oh, he's gonna lose it. That's big. That's a lot of resources and time he's gonna have to spend. Didn't really want to lose the town center, and he only has right now 2 military buildings, and Kimo's in a strong position. here. I don't know. I mean, there's ISIS on Anatolia is really hard to beat. I don't think the town center is... Yeah, he's gonna just lose it straight after, because he only has 2 military buildings, so he's gonna get out. Now he's building more. I mean, Kimo's eco is phenomenal, and he has fortified. Kimo could also... Looks like he stopped military production. Kimo is aging up Osiris too. I wonder why he stopped military production. Okay, you think he forgot maybe? Units are a little bit out of position for Kimo here. Actually, he's kind of got his siege towers all by themselves, so they'll kind of just die. Would like to have seen the spearmen up here ready to go. This town center still might go down though. One more hit! One more hit! Oh, it lives with 95 hit points! Oh, we got the bronze. And that'll force Kimo to fall back. But Kimo is... player's got a good eco, but it's a little bit out of whack. I mean, on the bottoms, I mean, boats, we really haven't seen almost anything. Okay, player's got a little bit of pressure on the water now. Okay, no armory upgrades or anything. Now here's Osiris. Probably, yeah, get it on your Pharaoh right away. So player holds for now, but he's behind everywhere else. I mean, he'd like to have gotten a little bit more ahead in economically, but yeah, bronze though, it looks better than what it is. It's not super great. It's solid. I think it maybe doesn't get the love that it kind of deserves, but it's not that awesome though. Because it's rare that you would actually have your unit surviving for the entire duration. You know what I mean? And now the town center's down, and Kimo's quite a bit ahead. I feel like player's eco is just a little bit out of whack, because at one point he had 1,500 food and like 0 gold. And now he's aging up, but he needed to be mythic with 3 town centers, and he just that ISIS push, I mean, it's just so strong. I mean, even though he didn't really push through with the Ancestors Eclipse, the amount of resources it forced player to spend to defend, it just allows Kimo to age up faster. But yeah, it's... Kimo, I feel like, played this really well, like, macro-wise. It seemed like he got his 3 town centers quick and was still able to push, while player got his first initial town center. See, I just don't think you can let the Egyptian keep water here. I mean, I know it's so hard, because if you fight hard on the water, then you lose map control. But as it was, he lost the map control anyway, and still allowed there to be water. I mean, player got a super easy win against Hell's Ravage with the early aggression. Maybe he thought that wouldn't work against a better ISIS, but I don't know. I think that's kind of the way you need to go, because most players now on Anatolia like this, most ISIS players age up pretty slowly, to the point where an early hoplite push on one side of the water can almost reliably win that water, and then you just have to make sure that you're... Oh, the mummy on the Colossus. Now, Kimo's gonna come down here with all of his army. You've got that kind of delay in the Hephaestus power spike. I don't think he has enough favor to even start researching Forge of Olympus. So like that early mythic right away, you aren't getting you aren't getting a huge power spike. It's kind of like that 2 or 3 minute mark once all the armory upgrades come in. Got Bellerophon coming. He's gonna try to jump on the Osiris here. Oh, he gets distracted by the Spearman though. And you got one Bellerophon and one army. Okay, there he goes. But he's gonna get chunked down so much. I mean, 400 gold is pretty expensive. Player is kind of pushed off of water here, whereas Kimo is pushed off of water on the top side. But at this point, it doesn't really matter. Oh, a little bit of... There's a hole in this wall, though. Yeah, okay, here he goes. I don't think player has any gold. Yeah, he's only got 190 gold. He has no way to combat this. He doesn't have a trade route, so he's going to be gold blocked. And I think at this point, it's probably GG. Isis is a tough nut to crack on Anatolia. I don't think the two-town center works against a good player. I mean, does anything work against a good Isis? That's kind of the debate, but I think your best chance of winning is that early aggression. What's up, Carico? See, you told me not to stream this, but but that's okay. You know what? I'll do what I want to do. It's my stream. If you want to stream what you want to stream, you can get your own stream, my man. Put these Petrobolus on this. What is this? A fully upgraded town center? It barely does any damage. These Petrobolus barely do any. All right. Good night. Alright, well, there we go. You would get banned if you streamed what you wanted to stream. No, there's no way I can stream too. I gotta go to bed. I started this a little bit late already. Osiris versus Petrobolus here. That's a lot of resources that are down. Oh, that's funny. Oh man, you just got back from soccer. Okay, okay. Alright, well, Kimo with the victory here. Wow, very quick. Very quick. Yes, Petrobolus are not so good. So, in the olden days, they kind of, and we're talking like Age of Mythology original, they had some purpose because the games were a little bit slower because you couldn't get your town centers until Heroic Age, so Petrobolus were a lot more of value in original vanilla AOM. With Titans coming out, town centers early, which means for faster booms and typically shorter Heroic Ages, Petrobolus kind of became a little bit obsolete, and probably could have used like a little bit of like a stat boost, which there were a ton of balance changes going from Age of Mythology original to Titans. Probably could have used a little bit of a stat boost, I think. But let us update our scorecard here and get our images for our games. We have the other question was, what makes Anatolia so good? Well, for Isis, well, water maps overall are pretty decent for Egyptian because compared to other civs, the Egyptian docks are substantially cheaper. So you can spam the docks, and especially in Anatolia, where all of the fish are close to the shoreline, you can put a dock next to each fishing camp, and then it's really, really hard to push Isis off without having to overproduce to the point where it's not valuable. What Isis then also gets, I'm looking for these pictures here, is the Ancestors Eclipse, which is basically free map control. Which that is, I mean, Egyptian, well, Set doesn't have a whole lot of problem, but yeah, it's that free map control that is so big. So if you push on water against the Isis on Anatolia, you have to overproduce, which already getting map control is an uphill battle, and so you would lose map control for sure. But if you don't, then ISIS gets a super strong boom, and typically Egyptians benefit, it seems like they just benefit more from water eco than other gods. And so you can't really, it's like, it's a mistake if you try to push them off of water because you overproduce. It's a mistake if you don't push off the water because then ISIS gets a crazy boom. So what do you do? What do you do? You know, so we'll get Kimo up. Thanks so much for streaming. Well, hey, you're welcome. So as the yeah, it would be nice if there were a balance patch, but that could improve it. Give me 1 second, guys. Maybe 30. I gotta say goodnight to the wife. So give me a minute. I'll be right back, guys. All right, an update. I have to get a roast out of the freezer. So I got 40 people in here, and I know if I don't get it now, I'll forget. And I could like have you guys remind me later, but I think you guys would forget too. So give me another minute. I have to get a roast out of the freezer. There's a ghost in my cam. Oh. All right, actually, that went a lot quicker than I thought. So, here's the roast. Beef chuck roast. I'm going to put it right here so I remember to put it in water after I'm done to help it thaw overnight. You found me through Boyd. And this guy found Chrono, then Boyd. All right, it's like reminiscing how your romances with the same girl started. You give 10,000 to each of them. Well, I hope you win the lottery. Jeez, let's all buy him a lottery ticket. All right, let's go on to game number 2. Player versus Kimo. So Kimo is now, he won after losing the first 2 against Shelty. He won the next 3 in a row, and now he's won the first one against Player. Let me make sure my overlay is right. Yes, it is. All right, we're gonna go into game 2. What kind of? Do I want to watch that clip? Is that something embarrassing in regards to me? Player versus Kimo, game number 2. This is going to be Savannah. We're probably going to see Zeus Ra. Yeah, I'd like to say I'm awesome for predicting it, but pretty standard here. Both players playing their main. So we've got Player in the top left as the Zeus, and of course that means Kimo in the bottom right is Ra on Savannah. I like Savannah too. It's nice in an open, aggressive map. So we've got both players starting with the double rhino. That's a pretty decent start for. Oh, that's a pretty decent start for the Savannah. Get your 1,000 food. So now the question will be, what are the second hunt spawn and third hunt spawn is gonna look like? Okay, we've got our 2 elephants. That's a really nice placement of elephants for player, actually, because these elephants can spawn pretty far forward. It's the farthest hunt, so you can actually get them like way up here. Saw the total number of games. Well, as I said yesterday, and then I made some comments to spoil some games. I always get 5 games sent to me through my provider. There may or may not be 5 games. So you're not spoiled by knowing how many games there are, because I always have 5. Like missing hunting dogs are bad. Yeah, those aren't really small details, but what it is, we have some time to talk. So, on lower levels, there are so many mistakes that it's hard to really point out, like, any specific mistake as being like, yep, that's the one that cost you. Because really, you've had about 50 mistakes. I mean, you watch me play my tournament games, and you'll be like, yeah, mistake, all of them together combined. That's why you lost. For the better players, it is true that there's so many fewer mistakes, so it makes it look like, well, that one mistake is all it costs. But you kind of think of it like that, because there's so few mistakes. The ones that are that much more important. And I think when you watch these recorded games, even of the best players, it is very interesting to see that even the best players make mistakes, and sometimes like some key mistakes, and a lot of it is more, it's really not like mechanical or really micro mistakes. A lot of it just comes down to decision making sometimes, or like more general strategy within the game. Like, I felt like Shelty had some issues on his last match where I think he lost his games because of just wrong decisions as far as strategies. And because the strategy was wrong, he would have had to play so much better in order to win. And it can be just something really just wrong strategy. No matter how hard you play, how well you play, if it's the wrong strategy, you're kind of screwed. But let's talk about strategy here. So, Zeus v. Ra. There's a couple things that can happen here. The Ra can go kind of greedy and go for a 2 town center fast heroic, and then risk getting pushed off of a gold mine. However, this town center here is actually in a pretty decent spot, considering the gold mine. And Kimo, I believe, does have both of these scouted. So I think we might see him doing, well, he's being really defensive, though. Like, really building up. Why does it say I'm now live again? Did my stream disconnect and restart, or what? I thought he would do 2 town center, but he's really worried about a rush, so I wonder if he won't do 2 town center. I don't think player will rush. I mean, oh, it did? Oh, okay, weird. Well, hopefully nothing disconnected or whatever. But hopefully he doesn't. Yeah, player wouldn't. I would think a rush on this would be very unlikely. So I'm kind of surprised he's walling it up this hard. What kind of relic we got here? Tower of Cestus. I think player will grab. He prefers to grab the early second town center, and then generally pop up in classical age with a full pop army on the gold mine here, which I think properly done is probably the best. Kimo, he will be grabbing a town center. Why do players generally ignore their chicken? Well, you'll see the raw players sometimes do it. Chicken gathers slower than goats with husbandry, otherwise it's the same. Yeah, getting a town center. He can afford this town center because then he's going to have elephants. Actually, Okay, he's getting this town center because of that gold mine. But the Ra will generally skip the chicken because the Ra will go from the initial hunt to goats to farms, and then the farms will be, I think, after you get plow and husbandry, farms might be fast. No, I don't think they are, but definitely with the second upgrade, once you get irrigation, it's faster. But we are seeing 2 town center, and players going to town center as well. Player has some decisions. A decision here is, will he do 2 town center and do a quick, semi-quick heroic? Or will he do 2 town center and stay in classical age? So far, he's not making any. Oh, these fillies are gonna get punked by the. Oh, never mind. This hyena's almost dead. But will he stay age 2 or go up age 3? I think he's gonna go for a semi-quick heroic because there's no military buildings being built. I'm not sure. No, chickens are not affected by husbandry. Husbandry only affects the gather rate of goats, or, well, your goat or your pigs or your cattle. It does not apply to chicken or berries. So here's the rain. I hope he has, yeah, he does, plow and husbandry. And I'm powering this. Generally, you can slide an additional priest into this build and advance just, well, actually a little bit faster. Because then you would be able to empower you'd have 3 spots of empowerment. I'd like to see that. But yeah, player is definitely just doing a 2 town center age up. I wonder if my YouTube isn't connected anymore, because I'm not seeing any YouTube in the chat. That might have been the issue with the stream connecting and disconnecting. I just don't think you can reliably match. Yeah, you told me he could win. I didn't think he would. Just ate 2 patties, oatmeal, and now you're still hungry. But I just don't think you can match a raw 2 town center with your own 2 town center heroic. I think you have to pressure the gold mines here as player. I think that's the best thing to do. I mean, it is tough though, because this gold mine for Kimo is, okay, it is working. Alright, that's cool, that's cool. This town center kind of protects too, but yeah, he's going for the heroic. And for me, when I played Ra, which I still do occasionally, though now I spend most of my time streaming, I always feared the age 2 push more than a semi-quick heroic push. Because player could be pressuring this now with a decent sized army. Instead he's going up heroic and is just allowing a free Ra boom. And I always felt pretty confident as a Ra. If I'm getting a free Ra boom, I feel like, I mean, that's Ra's bread and butter. Ra's difficulty is getting gold mines, and maybe player was scared because of the 2 gold mines, and so he'd have to get both. And I don't know if he thought maybe he couldn't do that, but I just think the 2 town center is a low. He could have tried a 3 town center maybe and been done okay. I could have been okay with that, because then at least you're 3. Oh, locust for, what is that, 4 villies here? You're still going at it with those jokes there. The missing nose of the spink. That guy outdid himself on that message. Oh, yeah. Alright, well, you could just rock over on the rock here. So yeah, Kimo's doing what the Rod normally would do, is just do a mixture of camos. Camos, chariots. Yeah, Rod was not really my old main. I mean, still my main. I just don't. Currently with the tournament, I haven't been playing too much lately. But yeah, Rod's still my main. I just, if you can call anything my main at this point. But yeah, so and we're gonna be grabbing a third town center, and I think okay. This actually the heroes will kind of plow this over. Alright, yeah. I'm kind of surprised Kimo stayed that long on that fight. It was kind of clearly a losing fight there. A little bit of adventurous gold mine, kind of eco upgrades. Just the first line. Kimo has just, say, some of the second line. Winner, I don't know about that. Okay, player's gonna come forward. Actually, this Pharaoh going forward, I missed it. The Pharaoh was originally not here and was down in the town center. Actually, the Pharaoh going forward to show up to kill the Manicore, I think this town center would have been up if the Pharaoh would have stayed on this town center. So, kind of a little bit of a misplay there, just to value the killing the Manicore. Man, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I'm gonna win any series in this vanilla tournament. But yeah, Pasuchos and Eclipse is so strong. You're right. You just don't often see the Boit, or not the Boit. What the heck? You don't often see the Bast into the Hathor very often. So you don't, but it is good. Now I know spears, so here come the spears right now. So now the spears are coming in, and yes, it is important. It's a mistake I think a lot of Ra's do, is that they rely purely on Migdol units, and actually a few spears mixed in. Pretty solid. Oh, this town center. Oh, it's so close. It's pretty much stagnant, right? And running a little bit low, but player is losing his entire army down here on the bottom. So, like, this delay really is kind of resulting in player losing his army. Now player's grabbing a third town center as well. So both are at 3. 99 popped to 134. So Kimo still has quite a bit better of an economy. Just because he's Ra, and that's what Ra does. Kimo's also got better eco upgrades, so I always preferred, so you want to get, your gold is important, but your farm one is also, I mean, they're all important, but I always preferred to try to get the farm one first. Peltas or archers? Not Peltas. Peltas are just so, just immobile. They don't really counter chariots because of their immobility. And so what you end up getting is just a unit that really doesn't counter what it's supposed to counter, because typically they can never get on the chariots. Oh, just walled that off in time. Yeah, the game comes with an AI. I'm sure you can actually go, probably Age of Mythology Heaven, you could probably download a custom AI that's plays better than the default one. Has the game been won? I mean, it has been won before, but Thoth is kind of out of the meta right now. You don't see Thoth very often. Here comes just a little raid on the back, but we got plenty of units here to defend that. And now he's got his farm upgrade. Okay. I mean, if you want to just play the... Well, why are the spears standing here while there's this raid right there? Yeah, I was thinking, Kimo's up age 4. Okay, now Kimo kind of realizes what's going on here. But Villies with the skin of the rhino, they still take so long to die. Like another benefit of being raw is like even when you raid raw to a certain point, it's not so good. But we're coming into the late game. This is kind of a pretty slow early game so far. We kind of have that little push on here, but otherwise it's just ecoing up. But again, Kimo is ahead. I mean, raw boom. I mean, look at the techs too. Players just behind techs. He's really rushing age 4. He's up what 53% compared to 60, 70%. Kimo's getting his trade route up. Would like to see him send a priest down to empower. Just one armory upgrade. It's the right one to get. Hack armor because of all these hack units here. Yeah, just play regular. A game comes with an AI if you weren't aware. Yeah, Kimo is up 1-0. And so Greek. Okay, what he will be getting is. Well, use Plenty Vault. Where's Plenty? Player still does have Ceasefire and Underworld. Kimo's gonna want to put the pressure on here. Oh, now he's aged up. Okay. Kimo, I would like to see. Okay, here's some forward building, getting his catapults. Player getting his Forge of Olympus, because once Greek gets all the armory techs up with Forge of Olympus, there's the bolt on the Osiris to get him about 1/3 of the health down. We like to see Bellerophon come out somewhere. Where's Bellerophon? Okay, well, I like to see Bellerophon. Okay, we're getting his building tech here. Yeah, I don't know if he necessarily threw the games against Joe. He definitely didn't play as good as he could have, but he had some key mistakes early on that kind of cost him, and I think maybe just trying to style on non-raw. So I think he tried, I just think he was trying to style by not playing raw. And yeah, this is going to be a pretty heavy push here. Players behind economically. He might need to use, I mean, he can delay using his ceasefire, but this is in on the trade route. Actually, this wood line here is really, really rough for player, because the trade route has to come through this fight up here. Now we're kind of having that deadly push. Here's the ceasefire, a little bit early of a ceasefire, I think. Alright, he's gonna wall. Okay. Wall. Man, if he could like wall the Osiris off, that'd be pretty awesome. Here comes Bellerophon. Player getting his armory techs. He is. He's just now getting the first line of armory techs. He's got all 3 of his armories up. But see, Kimo is also like staying equal with the armory up, so it's really, the time isn't buying player a ton. He does have the Osiris kind of surrounded here. Not kind of, he is surrounded. There is a shifting sands. I almost wonder if Kimo would just, I don't know if you shift here, but yeah, Osiris is stuck. I guess he could maybe run this way, but then he'd have to come up here. So oh, the rock is coming in time. Oh, what? We can get Odysseus on the rock, but I don't know if you'll kill him in time. So the rock comes in just in time to save the Osiris. That's a big play there. That's a big play. Oh, but Osiris still getting surrounded here because these walls are players. Would like to get the Bellerophon on Osiris, but he can't fit. We actually had this. He can't. Oh, okay. So Osiris is dead. In the end, it worked. Yeah, the rock is got 7 health, so you couldn't have put the Osiris in. So the delay actually, if player can delay, that works in his favor. And yet we see he had to delete. Like, he needed to needs to cut this wood line here so he could put his market down here. So the Osiris death will buy some time. And yes, he does have that underworld, but he can't afford to use it right now because he can't afford to keep the pop down because he needs all his pop here to defend. Player's eco is looking rough. How is his eco upgrades are awful. That's why his eco, he's got 8 food, 95 wood, 200 gold at 115 pop. And Kimo is 160, 160. And is now walling this off. And man. Usually player's macro is on point. But it's just, he has no eco upgrades. And that's what's really hurting him here. I mean, Kimo's got everything. He's got all the eco upgrades. Player has really no way to get. His only way to get at this is with Bellerophon. Bellerophon is way over here. There's no Villies even repairing. Come on, you need to. There he goes. Okay. Where's the repair? It said they're just building right here. He does not want to lose this town center. Like, it should not be going down. This town center should not have gone down. He could have repaired it. Instead he was building a fortress. But, I mean, he couldn't, he's just too far behind economically, as it is. Yo, what's up, Cackle? And we see we got a Colossus push over here. Unupgraded Colossus, though, aren't super awesome. Do we have a mummy? Oh, here comes the... Okay, we do have a mummy getting trained. We've got the Pharaoh coming. We do have the Silver Colossus now. This is a trade route. If he can get this down, the mummy can't come out because of pop. And now we have the Underworld down here. So, player realizes that he can't really hold this, and his only way of winning is to kind of do a bit of a town center trade. And I think he will get it down. Oh, shifting sands. Okay. Alright, will player be able to get his town center back? See, this is where if you are able to keep your ceasefire, you could potentially steal the game and cease and grab the town center. Wait, this mummy, now this mummy won't ever come out. Yeah, this is still the second match. Okay, man, this Colossus spam out of here actually really valuable. And now Kimo kind of going crazy on the Underworld here, losing all of his Villies. And this is a nice turnaround for player here. A really nice turnaround. I still don't know, he might just be a little bit too far behind economically. He's also not repairing... He has nothing to repair this Underworld. So the Villies will take the Underworld down. I mean, player kind of has this proxy base here, which is good. But he needs to keep this town center down, and he's not going to be able to. So actually that shift did save Kimo there. Bought player a ton of time. I mean, we now see that he will probably be able to get his forward town center back, or side town center, whatever you want to call it. But Kimo is able to get, and as soon as this town center gets up, the mummy should pop out, and that'll kill all of these Colossus then. Yeah. So with the town center getting up, now Kimo has popped for his mummies, so the mummies will now counter the Colossus push. But that bot player a lot of time and also allowed him to get his town center back, and now he's pushing back on the build over here. So if player can solidify Only counter Colossus because of what you just saw right there. The special one-hit KO is how they. So the mummy, many of the myth units get a special attack, and the mummy's special is that it's a one-hit KO on any unit. Now it takes some time to recharge, but yeah, the special kill the Colossus and then now it's gone. But this was of a high value trade for player. Well, he didn't stay on the trade TC because he ran out of resources and couldn't keep the army production up. So I think he would have liked to, but he didn't have the eco to keep the army production up. Like we still see, he's only at 138 pop, and Kimo is back at 160 pop. And so Kimo's solidified, but that did buy a ton of time for player here. And the question is, he's got better eco as he did compared to like 5 minutes ago. But Kimo's still in a pretty decent spot. He's empowering the wrong market. Even when you're a good player, there's still things you can do better. I can't bear to look at that. That's like Raw 101. But it's easy to make those mistakes. I think Raw, as long as you can keep up with the Colossus spam with the mummies, I think Raw matches up pretty well against Zeus late game. Player without having the siege upgrade too, the Helipolis aren't that great. But player is at full pop now. Has all of his armory upgrades. Kimo has almost all of his armory upgrades. Yeah, mercs help a ton. The player has to get map control back over here. He has to push the trade route. Fighting one spot, I don't think you can reliably win this. And we see Kimo trying to push through. We had player did upgrade his tower, his walls just in time. I'd like to see a Billy or two come down and repair that. But yeah, player, as long as he doesn't have upgraded siege, he won't be able to push through this spot. Yeah, mummies aren't as good against trash because their KO is a KO, and then regardless, and it takes, I don't know if it's like a 20-second recharge time. So yeah, the mummy is basically value against the fancy enemy units. There's still, his eco is still bad though. 120 pop again, and we're looking, he just now got medium or heavy infantry. Now he has champion Toxotes. But again, I know you could say like, well man, this wood line is really screwing player, but he could have chopped through these trees a long time ago and gotten a little bit of a better trade route going for him. And we've got the Paspis here. That makes you hard. No, the mummy does not one hit. Oh, okay, I missed the Titan Gate coming. We're getting a Titan Gate. Is Kimo getting Titan? He is not. We have not seen very many Titans in the tournament. The Titans are kind of a bit out of vogue, shall you say. But no, the myth unit specials don't work on siege units. Siege units are immune to it. They can't. But okay, so that's why player's eco is bad. Because he just spent, what is it? It's 2,400 resources on the Titan Gate. Kimo, does he have the favor? Okay, he does. He's getting Secret of the Titans too. 16% up. Would like to see the Pharaoh empower this, because the Pharaoh empowerment does make the Secret of the Titans upgrade go faster, because it doesn't count technically as an age upgrade. I do believe it counts just as a normal tech, so the empowerment does actually help it research faster. Pretty sure. Don't completely quote me on that, but I'm almost positive. So, you know, this Pharaoh, just like this one, is still empowering the wrong market. And no, you cannot one-shot. Heroes are also cannot be the target of special attacks either. It works against other myth units and human units. And we can see that the scoreline is evening up. That push down here really helped players stabilize. The question is, though, will he be able to push through and get on this town center? He has a great... yeah, that's why. So the Hika Gigantes is because it's an area special. Yes, you can bolt the Son of Osiris. So the Hika Gigantes, you target it on a unit next to a hero and it pushes it back. Long game, Ra or Zeus? I'd say Ra in a long game. Because Ra gets mercs and also gets strong units. The Zeus, I mean, it's not, you know, it's not like a completely one-sided thing. Late game Zeus is also pretty strong, but late game Zeus has to be able to push on two sides of the map. You can't ever really reliably push one way. But okay, so we got this Titan out. Man, I don't know if it can get here in time. 15% up. What's it? Maybe a minute and a half it has time to come down here. Generally players, you'll see players put up like building foundations to block the Titan, and I don't think the Titan can make it. And player is going for a wonder. Okay, can Kimo respawn with his own wonder? No. But Kimo does have rocks, so you could potentially see a rock drop. Normally player doesn't play like this. Rocco banana. No. That's kind of funny. But normally player doesn't play like this. Which red unit is through and atop its random siege tower? Nothing important. Kimo so far is not doing any blocking with any buildings. Generally you see like a bunch of market segments getting put up, and he's doing path blocking with the mercenaries here. You can path block with caravans. At this point, player might want to just bash the units away. The caravans are so annoying at path blocking because they kind of ignore unit blocking, or like the normal unit. Like you can stack caravans on top of each other. I think this will block the caravans in time, block the Titan in time. Yeah, he's not gonna get to the Titan, is he? All the caravans have done their duty. Now they're running away. Yeah, the caravans, unlike other units, the caravans can kind of walk on top of each other. So that, of all units to path block, the caravans do the best job of it because of how they're kind of coded. So units can't walk through them, but the caravans in a way can kind of path in areas that other units couldn't. And that hurts. Personally, what I would have done there, I would have thought it a long shot that the Titan could have gone to this Titan in time. I would have liked to have seen player send it to the town center. Because player, now, where's his pop space? Has he got a bunch of low value Hippaspis here? Okay, here's his pop, but it needs the upgraded siege tech. Petrobolus are so bad without any siege upgrade. And this is an upgrade I've seen quite a few players missing is the Siege Engineers. It's such a good technology, and it's almost integral late game. And players just got so much pop into this, which is just completely pointless at this stage. I mean, he might get the town center down with the Colossus, but where are the heroes? Where are the heroes? Player needs his heroes to come out. This one mercenary that's in too is causing some problems. And we do have the fortress is dead. No, engineers helps for everything. It's 25% more damage for ranged. Oh, the mummy comes in just in time and gets the. I think the town center stays up because of the mummy. Oh, it does. The mummy showed up just in time, and the lack of siege engineers. And player has the resources to get it. Like, until you have siege engineers, it's not worth it making Petropolis, or even almost Helipolis to some extent. But here's our big Titan v Titan battle. Yeah, microing out the Bellerophon. His special does a lot of damage. Would like to see his heroes get on the other side, because they're actually tanking damage here. If they were to be over on this back side of the eagle, they wouldn't be getting damaged, but it's going to end up being even because this is one eagle against 3 heroes in the Myth unit and the Titan. So 8:15 left on the Wonder. Do we have any rock drops yet? That is the question. A rock drop, a rock drop. Might as well just delete the Titan. It's a waste of space. 3 heads should beat 1. There's no semblance of any sort of attack yet. There's no rock drop. Are there any units that can heal? The Titan? No. There's this technology the Atlanteans get that can slowly regenerate the Titan. That's what you're getting at. Some other units also have regeneration as well. Where did the mummy go? Because we got another random Colossus in. But yeah, so the big thing now is just this 7-minute. Oh, the mummy's way up here. Oh yeah, you do get that special attack. Yeah, the only way a Titan can heal is with the Atlantean special. The Odin does not. The Odin regeneration only applies to human units. Greek physicians are only an extended edition. They were not original with the game. But we've got this Wonder at 640 left, and I'm looking for a rock drop or something for player here. I also don't understand. At this point, player's key to winning is to just survive here. So the push on this side is kind of a waste of effort, really. He needs to just be focused purely on his base. And look at his eco, only 113 pop right now. Oh, I don't know if he's going to be able to survive long enough. It's going to be close. I didn't think Kimo would be able to push through this fast, but player's eco, it's because of his trade route. Player has a pretty poor trade route. We're looking at 50 gold. Now Kimo's fixed this. 50 gold to 82 along with Pharaoh empowerment. Like, the problem is that if Kimo gets this town center, he gets mercs, and then he's only a screen away from the Wonder. And he has 5.5 minutes. And we still don't even have upgraded siege yet for player. Player just needed to chop this wood line so much earlier and get a better trade route. So yeah, the TC is down. Player Kimo's got Villies up here. Could probably use a few more. He's got a Pharaoh for empower. The Pharaoh was almost dead. Kill the Pharaoh with this Hippicon before the tower gets up. So yeah, now it's the race. 5 minutes, 10 seconds. We're getting some siege built up over here. I'm thinking maybe a rock drop at some point. So at this point, you're this close, you might as well just build here and just catapult through this way. So halfway done. 5 minutes. 5 minutes left on the Wonder. Gotta kill this Pharaoh. Yeah, I mean, he needed the ceasefire earlier. I mean, yeah, it would be awesome if he had the ceasefire. And the towers aren't shooting at the town center either. Fortress is. Okay, we're gonna have a priest in power, I think. Yeah. Need to kill that priest and need to kill the Pharaoh too. The empowerment is big. I mean, the priest doesn't empower quite as fast as the Pharaoh does. Okay, this Pharaoh will just kill himself. All right. Okay, no rock drop. He's actually just pushing through here. Hello, Mr. Abuser. Okay, 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Kimo's not quite... Kimo doesn't have enough villies up here. He needed to go send more villies up. Oh, we've got this random Colossus too. Look at all the eco that Kimo has. He should be sending like 10, 15, 20 vills. Oh, now he is. Okay, so now he's got the villies up. 3 minutes, 55 seconds. There is no rock drop. So at this point, I don't think we're going to see a... Why? Why does player have this here? How much pop is this? This is 15 population. No, this is 12. Math is my friends. Merc training time has been nerfed. Like... If these Petropolis are over here, this town center isn't coming up. I don't know why player has anything over here right now. There's no point to it. This is 15 pop. That should be right here. Keeping the town center down. Because now we do it 3 minutes. We got a full HP Wonder, 13,000 hit points. But player has no economy. He lost his trade route. Now he's got a really bad trade, like terrible trade route. I don't think he holds it. I don't think he holds it because now we've got merc spam from the front town center. We've already got 5 catapults here. And player has no eco. He has to reassign his caravans again. We got 2 minutes and 50 seconds, but player's eco. No eco. And now he lost all of his Petrobolus over here for nothing. He did kill this town center with his Colossus, but these Petrobolus just need to be over here. Now we've got, what, 6, 7 catapults on the one. He doesn't hold it. He doesn't. The Petrobolus on the wrong side of the map. I don't think he holds it. We got some units here. Well, the nice thing for players is that he's got these military buildings right next to these catapults. But we've got 5,000 hit points left with 2 minutes left. And player, no eco. No units on these siege right here. 4,300 health. No Bellerophon. 4 catapults now coming up. 3,600. Yeah, he doesn't hold it. Okay, got 1 catapult down. Colossus coming. 1,400. No, he doesn't. A minute and a half. A minute and a half he needed to last, and that's GG. Oh, ho, ho, ho. I thought he'd hold it. I thought he would. I just think this side push cost player much more than it just really did no damage. I mean, the only thing he got out of it was the random stray Colossus here. I mean, if these Petrobolus are over on this side of the map, they could keep the town center down. And without the town center coming up, you don't get you don't get the mercenaries up here. I mean, I guess you could. They'd still be up here, but you don't get all of this. I think. I mean, I don't know. We'll go on a limb. I think if player doesn't bother with all of this and doesn't have the 5 catapults over here, 5 petrol bullets, and they're over here, I think player wins. I think he could delay just those catapults being over here. I think he could delay that minute and a half that he needed. I mean, you'll never know. Never know, but Kimo up 2. Player 0. And we are moving on to Alfheim, which is a nice raw map. Right? Yeah. Alfheim, a raw haven, I always felt like. Especially if it's a low hunt Alfheim. It's Ra's map. So it's going to be a little bit tough. Oh, whatever. It's going to be tough. Did he have the building upgrades? I do believe he did. Yes, he had all the building upgrades. I guess I am staying up late. I'm going to have to do this. So yeah, he's got all the building upgrades. And the fact that it was as close as this, and when player really his macro early game was pretty off. I mean, it took him a long time to get eco upgrades. I think this is a game that player should win, given how it did end up going. I mean, you can say, oh, wonder or win doesn't count, but hey, you know what? If it says victory is yours across the screen, you win. That's all that matters. But anyway, let us move on to game number 3 on Alfheim. And why is Alfheim a raw haven? Because of how defensive it is. All the choke points. Ra's weakness is getting access to additional gold. Alfheim, with the way the cliffs are, you're generally going to get in, because Alfheim also has a lot of gold mines, more than normal maps. It's really tough to gold block a Ra. So, Ra v Zeus is pretty expected on Alfheim. And we've got decent hunt, actually, to start off with. So we're looking at player, he's down 2-0, the number 1 seed in the tournament. Down 2-0 to Kimo on Alfheim. And looking up at Kimo is on the top left. Here's Kimo in the red. He is Ra. Oh, this is the high hunt spawn version of Alfheim, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So there's a 10% chance of starting off. Alfheim is like, it's really got, Alfheim is quirky. There's a 10% chance of getting all these hunt spawns in your base at the start of the game. It's 1 out of 10 will happen. And we got that 1 out of 10. I think that's better for the Zeus, because Zeus, I mean, Ra is all about the farming and not less about the hunting. All this hunt will help the Zeus. Now the question is, how is the secondary hunt, though? Oh, 3 caribou. It's not good in deer, so I don't think we have any aurochs, which that hurts. So secondary hunt is low. Looking at 3 caribou, 4 or 5 deer, town center on the way back. Alright, we'll take a look. See, like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, Alfheim's gold mines are generally pretty beneficial to defensive gods. Alfheim is typically a defensive map. So, like, look at this gold mine. I mean, sure, it's a little bit forward from the town center, but look how easy it is. I mean, a little wall here, a little wall here, little wall right here. And that Alfheim is protected, or that gold mine is protected. Alfheim is whack. It's a different kind of a thing. I always enjoyed Alfheim, but I played Ra. So any Norse players left? Trying to think from what I've streamed. Again, no spoilers. Yeah, we still got Hell's Ravage versus Matrius. Hell's might pull out some Norse, so maybe a little Norse left. But he's not really been playing too much Norse in the tournament. So yeah, the main Norses are out. You might see a niche more Norse pick maybe yet in the game, but not yet. Alfheim, Ra matches up well against any god in Alfheim. Like, Oasis and Alfheim were always the two maps that I was happy to see as a Ra. Always happy. But we've got a lot of hunt. A lot of hunt. Pretty defensive map for Kimo. We got this gold mine here too. So we might see something pretty similar to last game, actually. I think for sure we see the two-town center. Or, pretty sure we see the two-town center. Ptah. Sekhmet, not Ptah. This is a best of 5, not a best of 7. So yeah, this is match point. Player loses this, he's done. Kimo wins this, he moves on to face the winner of Matrius Hell's Ravage, which I don't know the result to yet. Yeah, this is it. Player's out. Number 1 seed is out. Are you gonna see me play tonight? No. I'm gonna have to go to bed as soon as this is done because I started a little bit later. Yeah, this is a best of 5. Okay, so I think we'll see player grabbing an early second town center again. There is a potential to push on this gold mine, but Kimo's really walling it off, so kind of not really. Got this tower protected. And I think Kimo will just jump straight to that town center. Actually, a nice deer pack for a hunt. I'd like to see player do 3 town center. So Alfheim does have a lot of natural resources. I mean, the hunt necessarily isn't awesome, but you do get chicken and berry, which helps. But okay, he's getting an early hero though to get on the hunt. Hermes and Bast. Okay, Bast. That's different. Kimo does like Bast. I think of Ra players, he probably goes Bast more than most, I think. Because Kimo generally is actually a fairly aggressive Ra player, which is definitely more fun to watch than the defensive Merc spamming Ra player. But yeah, he's going up Bast. Very interesting. That's not standard at all. And player's up Hermes. He's gonna grab the forward town center because he's wanting to steal this hunt. This is Kimo's hunt here. And player's also killing the elk here. So I think Kimo will end up doing a 1 town center fast heroic. I think is what he'll do. I don't think he does scarabs. Because the problem is, unless player bolts the Sphinx, which he might, because the hero's out of position. He needs to send his hero back. Because if you go scarabs, the bolt kills 1 Sphinx, or 1 scarab. I don't think he can do that. He needs to get plow. Okay, plow's coming. Does Kimo not know that's there? He does. I'm surprised he's not pushing that town center a little bit. At least trying to force out the bolt. Alright, so Bast, a 1 town center. Fast heroic. I did not expect that on this map. You can generally see Bast on more of the higher high hunt maps. Like, we're talking like Marsh, Tundra. Alright, so we've got Rain. Yeah, if you do Eclipse first and move the Scarabs in, that you're right, that works. Is player gonna try to age? You know what? If Kimo does that, 1 town center, Bast Sekhmet, I think he wins. Because it looks like player is trying to do a semi-quick heroic again without making an army. Kimo would be able to level this town center before player would be able to react. want to know if he's going to go up with Bast. Or Sekhmet. Does he go up with Sekhmet? I would love to see that. I always enjoyed the Bast Sekhmet games. No, he's not. He's going up Hathor. Oh. You already saw this game. Yeah, you don't need to watch it again. Alright, he's going Hathor. That's disappointing. Because I think there's room here for your Scarab Brush. Because yeah, you use Eclipse. Why Hathor Eclipse? I'm really not sure. I mean, Eclipse on the crocodiles is super strong too. And I wonder if you'll do that instead. And that you just need to combine that with Siege then. Because then you can, the Eclipse crocodiles, those things destroy everything. They massacre. Is something was that Carrico mentioned it the earlier game that we don't see that very often. Sphinx causing a little bit of problems up here, but Odysseus is coming to stop that. And now we have Kimo trying to come up here. Maybe a fast mythic TT. I don't know. You can't. I don't think you can do that anymore. Okay. No Locust. I was thinking maybe he'd rush a Locust there. So Kimo's going for this town center. Or this gold mine, I mean. Okay. We'll see how good of a Locust Kimo can get. The sooner you use it, the better. Earlier you kill Villies, the better. Player is going to try to split up his Villies, so there's no really good spot. But what is... Player is aging up Apollo. Yeah, Petsuchos are really strong. Is he? He is. Yeah, here's what he's gonna do. He's gonna do a one-town center, Petsuchos, Chariot Archer. Oh, Elephant. One-town center, Elephant, Siege. I don't know if you really need the Elephant here. These are not the loser bracket semifinals. No, we're still a round before that. So the loser bracket gets an extra round in. Okay, we're gonna get the Petsuchos dropping right here. Got Jason here. Where do you Locust? The nice Locust here if you can find it, and there's no reaction. We do have Odysseus here. He's gonna put a stop to this actually. So that Petsucho, or that rock is down. We've got 3 Crocs, 3 Elephants, 2 Siege. He's gonna do it without any Chariots? I think he makes this has to be the last Elephant. Oh no, 6 Elephants. Wow. Anyone pop? Players at 90. Players up. Heroic. Here comes the push. I mean, you only have just that one range. Player has to ceasefire this. Kimo, I mean, Kimo could use... He's got 3 here. Actually, you know what? I think Kimo doesn't use Eclipse. So that... Because he wins this without Eclipse. I mean, the Crocodiles... Yeah, it's going to have to cease fire. And then we're going to see Eclipse used after this. And now he needs to... grab a town center because Kimo is popped. Yeah, he is. Player needs a 3rd hero. He needs it like now. He only has 1 hero out. And grabbing this forward town center. A little bit greedy. We've got, yes, 4 crocodiles. Now he's gonna grab this town center as Kimo. Player did not use bolts. No, he did not use bolts, so you can't bolt a croc. You almost might as well. What else is he gonna use it on? This is the win or lose. Honestly, player should probably just fall back, try to force out the eclipse, and then fall back. He has to get the eclipse out here. And as soon as... Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. Now he retreats. You don't fight this. You do not fight. No way you fight this. No way you try to. Okay, we got the heroes here. Like, the crocs do so much damage even to the heroes. Okay, so he waited to kill the siege towers. Okay. So not so bad, actually. Player's done this fight pretty well, but he can't come up here. You can't let these 2 crocs are shooting the granary down. But no, so this is a mistake here. Fighting this and trying to save the town center, you have to expect that you'll be losing your town center. 82 damage. This is the throw here. Now, if you really call it a throw. This is no. You resign yourself to the fact that you're going to lose your town center and you retreat. 3. Yeah, you can't go in. Like, yeah, you have to give it up. He could win if he gives it up. Oh, this is a nice locust. Oh, well, you can't lose. You can't win falling away like that. Oh, wow. Yikers. Yikes. You can win, potentially, if you fall back from there. You can't win if you stay. You can win if you fall back and you do 2 town center and mythic. I don't know how many builds that was, but that was a lot. And now player, because he lost all those vills, 75 popped to 130. Because player was ahead vill count, because Kimo didn't get this 2nd town center till late. Kimo's also bast. Doesn't have the cheaper farm, so he's not saving on that. But now player has to completely rebuild his army that he suicided at a fight that there was no way he was going to win. Like, initially, picking off the siege towers, that's okay. I can get behind that. Fighting here and getting the camels, that's okay. But the instant they came back on the elephants, that was the mistake. That was the big problem. And now he doesn't have enough of an army to defend the 2nd town center. And so this town center, even though it's all the way in the corner, is going to go down. If player still has his full army, he doesn't have to rebuild it. He can get town center upgrades and have his 3 heroes and potentially stave this attack off. And then just has to hope he can push out a mythic. I mean, regardless, he's in a tough spot, given how well Kimo did this. But, and see, he is up Hephaestus. Actually, that's a bit of a surprise. I didn't expect that. But he could be Hephaestus with an entire army, not having to rebuild it. And he'd be okay, because as soon as Bellerophon comes out, he can kill all the Petsuchos. Was the fight bad enough to be considered a throw? Not really, because the throw is when you are in a definitive or an advantageous spot. He wasn't in an advantageous spot going into it. But still, the Petsuch... This guy will have a hard time surviving with all these units up here. And they gotta attack something, though. He's just gonna run right through? What the heck? Why didn't he just stay and... Okay, there he goes. Alright. There he goes. Alrighty, alrighty. So, now with the Betsuchos down, it's going so much better, but... Yeah, I don't think... The game isn't over if player retreats from this town center with his full army. But now... his counter push will just be so slow, players will, because of all the resources he had to put into making his army. He will defend this. But with losing all these vills, losing this army, I don't think he can counter push enough, and the Ra will be able to hold. Old school Age of Mythology is just roasting player here. Phew. Yeah, if player just retreats, I think he's in an okay spot. But, I mean, it looks good. He fought back. Looks nice. He gets plenty vault to improve his eco, but still, it's 99 pop, no eco, 160 pop, more eco. It's too far behind. Player with these random villies over here. I think you make some Tox, given the number of spears. I would prefer to see Tox over Hippaspis here. For sure. I would prefer, definitely would rather see a Toxoid than a Hippaspis. Definitely would prefer to see that. Yeah, I would agree. Player is better than this, but when you play good players, it's easy to look bad because the pressure that they put on, and they, you know, a little bit of exposure and showing, yes, you do have weaknesses. It's easy to look good against inferior opponents because they don't apply pressure. When you play against a player who's your level or so and is able to apply pressure, and then you start seeing the mistakes. But as far as Alfheims go, this wasn't a terrible Alfheim because of all the high hunt and the base. And even the deer pack was pretty decent. But yeah, it's just, how's he? Yeah, still pretty decent pop. We are going up Horus. I thought so because it looked like Kimo was kind of laying off the military just a little bit. Yeah, he's aging up Horus. He is at 32%. Player does not have, he does have the Nose of the Sphinx, but does not have any other building upgrades, so Tornado will likely kill with just one upgrade. 3000 HP, I think it will kill it. You hope player wins. I don't think he will, though. I mean, I don't know, Colby, if we're watching the same game or not, but the hope, I think, is not gonna happen. Oh, the wall got stopped, too. How's the armory upgrades coming? He does have the 3rd Pierce upgrade, which is nice. Unupgraded Hippaspis, though, I don't see the point in them. They just get smoked by the chariots. I'd rather see Toxotes. And you got, because Kimo has the forward town center, he can just send the mercs right into the base. Now we're up Horus. We're probably going to see the tornado right here. And that will probably about do it. Yep, that's it. GG 3-0. 3-0 Kimo. 3-0'd player. So the number 1 seed of the tournament is out. The number 2 seed of the tournament is out. Courtesy of Kimo has destroyed both of them back to back. Well, not really destroyed Shelty, but destroyed him with Ra. And destroyed player with Ra. And now we'll see how Kimo does moving on. I feel like player could play a lot better. Shelty was the number 2 seed, I think. Or maybe Joe was number 2. I think Shelty was. Shelty was number 2. Joe was number 3. Skady was number 4. Yeah, player almost had that. Oh, is Shelty second seed instead of Joe? Um, Generally, Shelty has outperformed Joe in tournaments in the past. Kimo was 6, I think. So the reason Kimo was kicked down a little bit is because of his past tournament performances, which have not been good. Um, when he hasn't even been playing tournaments. So that's why. It's because he's never made it very far in a tournament before, but he hasn't really played in many. So it was based more so on tournament results than it was current Voobly rating, because anybody can win a bunch of random 1v1s in Voobly and look amazing. Tournaments are different. But how can you say the seeding was off when of the 8 seeds to make it to the top 8, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9 were the ones who made it to the top 8. So I think the seeding was right on. Yeah, see, just this here. This is the moment of truth right here, and the throwing away of the army, and then the losing of the Villies on the way out. Both could have been avoided. And does player win because of that? I don't really know. It would be a little. He was still on the. I would say the likelihood of losing, but it would have been pretty close. There would have been a chance, a pretty decent chance, but he didn't. So, well played by Kimo. That was some good Raw. All 3 of these games. Well, I guess he played Isis that first game. Good Isis. Then good Raw. This was a well executed Raw here. This game. It was really good. I was impressed. That was well done. That was really good Raw here. It's a strategy not expected on Alfheim. It worked. Player fell for it and threw his army away, and that was it. Am I done for the night? I am done. More of the players who say they are best need to enter. I mean, the main ones that didn't enter were Green Sea and Aya, which typically they don't play tournaments anyway. So, yeah. Anyway, let's update the scorecard here. So Zeus versus Ra. We never got to see Ghost Lake or Borderlands. Magic's inactive though right now, so he wouldn't even have time to play his games. Players no level to play against Kimo. Yeah, I don't agree with that. Kimo's in the tournaments that Kimo has played, albeit it has been a while, he never got very far. He had some early exits, but yeah, you can't. I mean, you can say you're the best, but yeah, and that's always. I do agree with that though. Like to me, all the random Voobly 1v1s and all the chicanery that goes on there, where they're picking their opponents, and you got players like Green Sea with like a plus 40 win streak against 1700s. It really means nothing. The tournaments are important, and that's why, to me, I will never put Green Sea as one of the best 1v1 players because he hasn't played tournaments, and tournaments are different than just your Voobly games. I mean, obviously you can get a really good understanding how good of a player is, but if it's not a tournament, tournaments are just a little bit different. I mean, the preparation, there's that preparation kind of aspect that goes into it. I mean, it's just a different atmosphere. You know, it's like, to me, the 1v1 Voobly 1v1 rating is, it's like your scrimmages. The tournaments are the actual games. Those are the actual competitions. Everything else, you can tell if somebody's good or not from a scrimmage, but that's not a real game. Alright, so player 0, Kimo 3. So I am going to show you guys my bracket to give you guys a heads up of what's going on as far as I'm concerned. I think it's up to date except for Matrius versus Hell Ravage. I know they've played. I don't know the results, but the brackets are up to date through that. So if you aren't up to date on all the other games in the tournament, you might want to see this part. But we'll go through it and take a look at the updates. So let's take a look at this here. So here are the brackets as we are looking at. We just had Kimo versus Player. So Kimo will move on to play the winner of Matrius and Hell's Ravage. I feel like if Kimo plays Hell's Ravage, he wins. If Kimo plays Matrius, I think that's a close match. But you know what? Actually, no. I think Kimo beats Matrius because Matrius struggled against Fox. Matrius lost to Joe. And Kimo is a better Egyptian than both of those players. So if Matrius barely beat Fox, lost to Joe, albeit it was very close, I don't think he beats Kimo. I don't think he does. I look old compared to 5 months ago. That's just the beard. So yeah, I don't think he was. So Kimo advances to the. I think it's Joe versus Kimo here, and then Kimo versus Skady in the finals. And I think Skady wins. I think Skady wins here. Low-key Rush. I haven't seen you too much lately. I think Skady wins. I think it's Skady versus Kimo in the finals, and Skady wins. My opinion. Is it worth anything? I don't know. No, I'm not gonna play. I gotta go to bed. It's been midnight, so I'm gonna go to bed. Hey, I still have. I don't know where to put this. I still got this. Thank you. Loki Rush. Yeah. Still get this lying around on a pile of papers on my desk. Anyway, I'm going to call it a night. It is 12:06 a.m. and I have to go to bed. And yeah, that is the one thing. It would have been. We'll talk about drawn out. The double elimination, we weren't sure of going in. The worry was that it would draw the tournament out too much. I wanted to get some of these double elimination because there's an extra round in the double elimination. I wanted to get one of these rounds to be the same week. But I don't think it's going to happen. So we're going to have a dead zone week. So we'll have Skady Joe play, Kimo, whoever play, and then you have this game, and then you get the finals. So the double elimination draws the tournament out by 2 weeks. It adds 2 rounds. So you kind of have to balance. Is the additional games worth the additional 2 weeks? And kind of depends who you ask, I guess. Can go either way. I mean, for the delayed, viewership later on, it really doesn't matter that the tournament is delayed. Is extended 2 weeks and they get more games. But I think for like the live hype, you get more out of the non-double elimination if you can't get the rounds doubled up. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if we would do it like this next time. If there is a next time. We'll see. We will find out. But yeah, I gotta go to bed. So I do have anticipated a tournament match in a different tournament. Age of Mythology Vanilla, the original Age of Mythology. I got an anticipated tournament match on today or tomorrow, I guess. It would be Thursday at 19:30 GMT. Probably lose because I have to play Norse. So I have to play Norse 2 of the first 3 games. So there's 2 losses there. So that means I have to win all the other ones. But the round robin, though, the problem with the round robin is that if a player loses like 2 of his first 3 matches, He has no reason to play the third match, and we've had issues in the past with that, where what's the point of A playing or B trying? Um, so that sucks for the round robin, and that because we considered that, but ultimately went against it because of that potential where you have a person that loses immediately and then just like, well, what does it matter now? I can't even advance if I win these games, so why bother? But that's it. You guys trying to keep me up. Or what good games? These good games? Yeah. I mean, you know the results, but I think they're enjoyable games to watch. But I gotta go to bed. Yeah, I think they're interesting games. Um, I mean, any of these games, even necessarily even like a 3-0, um, is still interesting. Even when someone's getting defeated 3 times in a row, because you can still learn a lot by looking at why did such a good player like Player lose 3-0, and then you kind of look at it and analyze, and it comes down to just a few mistakes. And again, we kind of talked about it at the beginning of the stream, is how just a few mistakes can really cost him. And like you can look at the Savannah game, and well, I'm not going to spoil it for you. But it, and then like the Alfheim game, I mean, Kimo played really well. I don't even know if his player plays really good if he wins that game. But again, we had that big mistake, and that kind of ended any chance he had at winning. But yeah, will I join the DM tournament? Maybe. I saw that you're supposed to play 3 rounds, but he is very predictable. Player does have a certain game style that he pretty much does every time, but you guys are keeping me awake. I gotta go to bed. So I'm gonna go to bed. Thanks for watching, everybody. Maybe see you guys tomorrow for a very brief 3-0 thrashing of me losing, probably. But that's okay. I gotta go to bed. So thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate it. And I'll be back doing some more recorded games sometime. We'll find out. But yeah, have a good night, everybody. I'll catch y'all later.